In County Monaghan, Ireland, stands Castle Leslie, an estate connected to the Leslie family since the 17th century. The castle standing here today was largely built during the Victorian era, but its halls are surrounded by stories of people who apparently never left. And perhaps the most chilling involves Captain Norman Leslie. In October 1914, Norman was fighting in France during the First World War. Back at his family estate in Ireland, however, something extraordinary was reportedly happening. Members of the family claimed they saw Norman walking around the estate in broad daylight. They believed he'd returned home, but Norman never came inside for dinner. Then the terrible news arrived from France. Captain Norman Leslie was dead. Had his family somehow seen him after he'd already been killed? Norman Leslie wasn't simply another resident of the castle. He was a Sandhurst-trained soldier who served with the Rifle Brigade during the First World War. In October 1914, while fighting near Armentières in France, Norman was killed. Yet according to the story preserved by Castle Leslie itself, around the time of his death, he was apparently seen back home. Imagine seeing someone you know walking across the family estate. Nothing appears unusual. You expect them to come inside. Hours pass, but they never do. Then a message arrives telling you that the person you just thought you saw is actually dead hundreds of miles away. But if that was Norman's final journey home, apparently he wasn't finished, because only weeks later, another member of the Leslie family reportedly encountered him again, and this time he was inside the castle. A few weeks after Norman's death, Lady Marjorie Leslie was sleeping inside Castle Leslie's Red Room. During the night, she woke. Standing beside a chest of drawers was a man. It was Norman. According to the account told by Castle Leslie, Norman appeared surrounded by light and seemed to be searching through his old letters. Marjorie spoke to him. Norman stopped. He turned towards her, smiled, and then disappeared. Today, the room remains known as the Red Room, and Norman's story is still associated with it. Later, paranormal tales even claim that guests have heard the sound of papers being shuffled during the night. Some stories say Norman has even been heard apparently telling noisy guests to shh. Whether those later stories are paranormal activity or simply folklore, nobody can say. But Norman isn't the only Leslie family member reportedly seen after death. Another extraordinary Castle Leslie story takes us to the Mauve Room. According to accounts surrounding the estate, when Lady Leonie Leslie was approaching death, an elderly woman appeared inside her room. Leonie reportedly spoke with the mysterious visitor. A nurse apparently saw the woman as well and assumed she was simply another member of the family. But after Leonie's death, something disturbing happened. The nurse reportedly noticed a portrait elsewhere in the castle. She recognized the woman immediately. It was the same elderly visitor she'd seen inside the Mauve Room, except the woman in the portrait was Lady Constance Leslie, and Lady Constance had already been dead for years. Was it simply a case of mistaken identity, or had another member of the Leslie family returned to the castle to accompany one of her relatives during her final hours? But not every ghost story at Castle Leslie involves a comforting family reunion. One of its creepiest legends concerns a member of staff who reportedly encountered a strange man in the basement. His face appeared grey, his expression terrified her, and then he began moving towards her, closer and closer, until the mysterious figure was supposedly only a few feet away. Then he vanished. He's become known in paranormal accounts as the Grey Man, and the stories don't end there. Over the years, Castle Leslie has also been associated with reports of unexplained figures in corridors, mysterious bells, the sound of a crying child, and even sightings of a monk. None of these stories prove that Castle Leslie is haunted, but after generations of strange accounts, you have to wonder why so many different stories became attached to the same estate. A soldier reportedly seen at home around the time he was dying hundreds of miles away, his apparition appearing again weeks later inside the Red Room, a dead relative apparently visiting a dying woman, a terrifying grey man lurking beneath the castle, and generations of unexplained stories surrounding one historic Irish estate. Perhaps Castle Leslie's ghosts are nothing more than legends passed down through the family, but the story of Captain Norman Leslie stands apart, because the estate itself continues to preserve the remarkable story of the soldier who apparently returned home. But now I want to know what you would do. If you were offered the chance to spend an entire night alone in the Red Room, would you sleep there? Tell me in the comments, and follow Nightmare Harbinger for more haunted locations, terrifying legends, and the dark history hiding behind them.